Hey, it's Kevin. We're back to another part of this forge. I came up with a handle I'm going to use for this thing. The only problem is I need to weld it on the bottom of this, and I need to flip it over to weld it on. So guess what? I'm going to have to take this thing all back apart and go ahead and get my handle on there. I think that's the last thing I have to do before I put the top on. So I'm going to go ahead and tear this thing apart and go ahead and weld the handle on, and I'll show you what I'm going to use for that. I found some stock here. This is 3/4 stock. This is 3/4 cast iron pipe, and this will fit down in here fairly snug. It's not real snug, but it's good enough for me to weld my handle on. So what I'm going to do is this piece here is going to be welded right in the center of this. I'm going to weld it right in the center, and then this piece here will be able to slide in and out to make me a handle. But it's not only going to serve as a handle, but I'm going to use it as a rest too for my metal that goes in the forge. So I'll bend this thing up so it's up here, and then I'll be able to extend it out and hold larger pieces of metal in here, or grab a hold of it as a handle, pick my forge up and move it where I want it, and then when I'm done I'll be able to slide the handle in, lock it into place, and store this forge away so it's more compact. So that's going to be the handle. So I'm going to go ahead, like I said, get this thing tore apart and get it flipped over and get it welded on there. Oh yeah, another thing. You guys are probably wondering what I was using to cut them brick with on the last video. This is just an old diamond bit blade that's used for stone, and it carves really nice. I think you could probably pick these up at Lowe's or your hardware store, and they're just diamond bit blades, and they're used. I actually used it to cut the brick in half. I score it down so far on both sides and just tap it and it breaks it right in half. Or to cut that notch out for my burners, I just used this to cut the notch out. What we're doing here is you're just going to weld this nut on here so I'll have a handle to tighten the other handle up with. So this is just going to be to tighten up the handle. Alright, this is the handle. This is the piece I needed to weld on here, and this is the little handle that's going to tighten that rod up that's going to come out the front and the back. It's going to slide through. So that way it'll be our handle and the tool rest all at the same time. Okay, I got this thing, it's all welded in, got it all put back together now. We're going to try a rod in here, and what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to slide this thing in and out. I'm going to make a rest here, so if you got a long piece of bar and you want to put it in there, you could take this thing, stick it out here, tighten it up, and you can have a long piece of metal laying in here. Or if you want to move the machine, you could just grab the machine and go with it. So it makes it easier for me to move it around. So I'm going to work on bending, either bending this or welding a piece of stock up so I can get it about level with this here. I don't think it would hurt if it was a little bit higher, but I'm going to try to get it right around level. And then put a T-handle on it. But the handle can't be any wider than what the machine or the shelf here is, the stand. So that way when we push it in, we'll be able to slide it right up against here, and it will be out of the way for storage. Okay, our handle is all done now, and the way it's set up, as you can see, it's just a little bit higher than that, and you could take it, pull it out here. If you have longer stalk, you could take it out here and then just tighten it down. And if you need it up a little bit, you could always cock it sideways a little bit. But and then if you want to move your forge, you got something to hold on to it, to move it around with. So we could actually put longer stalk in here now. If I wanted to put, here's a piece of probably 6, I'd say this is at least 5 foot. If I wanted to heat that thing up, I didn't have enough room. Pull this guy out. Tighten it up. Now I can put that big piece of stock in there. That's 6 feet long, or 5 feet long. So I think this is a pretty good little addition to the forge. And it, like I said, it also gives me a handle to move this thing around. And when I go to put it away, I just loosen it up, slide it all the way in, and it's tucked up pretty tight in there. It has a couple inches here sticking out the back, but it's no further than what the wheels are on the bottom. Let me show you what this is. See, I got maybe 2 inches sticking out here, and if I wanted to cut it off I could, but I see no need to it because it's actually closer than what the wheels are to the wall. Okay, so now we got the handle all welded on. We don't have to flip this thing over no more. We're going to get started on the top. And this is basically going to be a box that's going to fit over the outside of the forge. And it's going to set right down on there, and it'll be able to bolt. I'm hoping, don't hold me to it, but I'm just trying, I'm figuring out as I go. I'm hoping it'll fit right on the outside of these angles, and I'll be able to slide it down and maybe bolt it from the sides. That way I can unbolt it, pull it off, work on my burners, and then put it back on and bolt it back on. Alright, I'm going to show you how I'm putting this top plate on here. What I've done is I've already stuck the burners down in there. And I got a good sized washer, and I had to grind the insides of them out so they'd fit over top of that 3/4 inch pipe. And I did the same way with this one. Then I put the burner in there, and I took this here and I screwed it on 2 turns. And I screwed the back one on 2 turns. Then I lifted the burner up so I could push the washer down. I want the washer down. That way, when I tighten these up down here, when I tighten them up, it will tighten my burner up and squeeze it against this plate. Now the plate is just laying on there. We'll be able to take this plate on and off and pull the burners out. We're just going to be welding these washers on there. So that's what I'm going to go now and go ahead and get started doing now. Okay, now that I got the 2 burners, I got both these tubes down in here nice and tight. I went ahead and snugged these up, so if I was to pick up, all the brick would want to come up too. So, and you got a way to tighten that burner down. Now, I'm going to be building just an angle iron box to fit down over top of this, and that's going to hold it all in there together. And that's basically it for the box. Once I get the angle iron cut out and get it to where I can bolt it on, this board pretty much is built, but we're going to have to get it plumbed up and everything. So we're going to go ahead and work on getting this top angle iron put on. Okay, I got this little box made out of the angle iron put over the top of it. And I was actually going to see if I could bolt it, but honestly, I don't think I need to. It's so tight on there that I think it's okay just to leave it loose, because it's really tight. And we can get it on and off in case we have to work on the forge. I don't see any reason why I would have to bolt that on. I think that's fine. Our burners are nice and sturdy on there, so I think I'm going to leave it as is. No use in fixing something that ain't broke. I think this worked fine. So now I need to work on this piece here. I'll show you. We're going to be working on the bottom shelf there, and I got some of this stretch steel. I'm going to cut a piece of this to put down there in the bottom, and that'll cut down on a little bit of weight. So that's where we're going to be storing our kiln or our foundry down in the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and get a piece of this cut. Okay, I think we're all good here. I got my little piece. I think I'm just going to lay it down in there. I think it's going to be fine. I don't even think I'm going to have to weld it in there. Just lay it down there. All it's got to do is serve as a bottom to hold that kiln in there, or the foundry, whatever you want to call it. So we're just about done with this guy. We're going to have to get some paint on it, that's for sure. So we're going to go ahead and tear the whole thing back down, wire brush it, and get it painted up. Well, I got the whole thing cleaned up, all painted. It's dry. Now I'm going to get to putting this bad boy back together. It's going to be a pretty machine. I'm sure hoping this is the last time I got to tear this thing apart. I sure tore it apart enough, I know that. But I guess that's just building. Takes time. Last brick goes in the back. Hey, it still fits. All right. Looking better. We might want to touch these burners up a little bit. Well, the forge is done, all besides the plumbing. This is the end of this video. The next one, we'll get the plumbing done on it, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw a piece of metal in there and see what we can do. See how it heats up metal, see how it works. Because if it doesn't heat metal up, it's really no good. It's not any good at all unless it does its job. We're going to see if it'll do the job. Now, a lot of times when I'm building something like this, I'll sit and just look at it for a long time before I actually start building on just each and every piece of this to try to come up with the best efficient way to build this thing. Now, I know that I needed something compact. I have a small garage. I needed something that I could move around. That's why we put wheels on it. Now, this handle, this tool rest, I really like this thing because we can slide it out and put pretty good sized metal in here. I mean, we could put a pretty long piece. I think we actually put a piece of 5-inch or 5-foot piece in here, and it went in. So this is a nice little tool rest, but the nice thing about it, it doubles up as a handle, so I can move the forge around, and then when we need to pack it away, all we have to do is slide it in, tighten our knob, and it's out of the way. It doesn't take up much room. So, like I said, we're done with this video. Hopefully, the next one, we'll get it plumbed up, get us some metal in there, maybe beat out a piece of metal, see how it works. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment if you'd like. Till next time.